Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to be trying out is the Maybelline Master Prime Primer. And this is the Blur Plus Redness Control. So that is what it looks like. It is the green one. So it is supposed to visibly blur and tone imperfections and smooth fine lines, prime skin to control the look of redness for an even toned start, lightweight, non-oily formula, does not clog pores, and says application wear alone or under makeup to refine wear. What I'm assuming it is a green tinted primer to cancel out any redness that you may have. Since primers are hard to do first impressions on, I am going to only do it on one side of my face, and the other side I am not going to apply the primer, just to see what the difference between both sides is with the foundation we are going to be trying today. Here is what it looks like. It's not that big of a green tone, like a green tint. It's very, very, very light, which is kind of shocking because I don't think that is gonna blur out any redness at all. And I do have like an imperfection right there, or a zit right there. So we will just see how this stuff works. And like I said, I am gonna only be doing it on one side of my face. Yeah, it is not canceling out any redness at all. So that's already not good. I'm just gonna pat this. And I did it with my left hand, and I cannot do anything with my left hand, so it's kind of difficult. And I don't have anything other than moisturizer on my face like always. I've never tried any of these products out before, so it'll be a good first impressions, I think. And they're all Maybelline products. Feeling my face, it feels really, really smooth. Like I have a smooth area to work with. Let that sit for a little bit. It has like almost, not like a silicone feel, but just like a very smooth powder feel almost. Sorry if you can hear my daughter in the background. Now this is one of three. There is the original one, and then there is a radiant one, and then the redness one. So again, I got the redness one because I do have quite a bit of redness on my face without blemishes or anything, just daily redness, usually right in this area. So yeah, we'll see how that holds up with the foundation. Okay, so the foundation that we're gonna be using today is obviously the Maybelline Fit Me, but this one is the Matte and Poreless for normal to oily skin, and I got mine in the shade 130 Buff Beige. Again, this is the Matte and Poreless one, not the original. And I have never tried the original, so I can't compare the two either. I just never really felt like I needed to try it, or I wanted to try it, so I never did. I'm actually gonna shake this up a little bit just because it's been sitting for a little bit since I bought it. So I definitely wanna make sure that it's mixed before I go ahead and pour some on my hand, because this does not have a pump or a squeeze tube or anything like that, which I am not a fan of. So I'm just going to apply it on the side that does have the primer on it, and then we'll compare the two sides. And this is a very runny and liquidy consistency of foundation. This is definitely a darker foundation than my normal skin tone, but it will work really, really well when I have my self tanner. Okay, so that over here is one layer, and this is no layers. It's doing a pretty good job of evening like my whole skin tone out, but I definitely want to see what another layer looks like. So I'm just going to apply it on this side, and then I'll do a second layer over the top of it. Okay, so I have one layer applied all over my face. Like I said, I'm gonna go in and touch up some areas and add some more foundation to the places where I think I need more coverage, such as this bad boy right here, as well as along the sides of my face and on my forehead. I'm going to avoid my eye area because I know that I'm going to be applying a concealer which is going to add more coverage already. So I definitely don't want to apply too much there because then it will start to look cakey. So I'm just gonna do like the perimeters of my face, and then of course down my neck. Okay, so to further blend out this foundation, I'm gonna go ahead and wet my beauty blender and blend it out just a little bit more, and then I'll go ahead and zoom you guys in to see the difference between the two sides with the primer and the no primer. Okay, so now that I am done blending out my foundation, I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in, and we will take a look at both sides. So this is what what the foundation looks like. Again, this is the side with the primer and this is the side with the no primer. I want to say right off the bat, the primer is not really an anti-redness control type of primer. I definitely think that is just a gimmick. It barely had a tint to it, and as you guys can see, I still see a lot of redness on my zit there, and I can still see redness peeking through in other areas too, mostly on this side because this is where obviously I applied the primer. But as for the other claims on it, it says prime skin to control the look of redness. That doesn't work. It says visibly blurs and tone imperfections and smooth fine lines. So we're gonna look at that. Okay, so after looking at it a little bit closer, I feel like this side, specifically right in this area, let me even get closer. So right in this area, right about here, I think it did the tiniest, teeniest bit of blurring with my pores. See if you guys can see that. They're a little bit more noticeable on this side, but besides that, I do not really see a difference using the primer and using no primer. This is going to be a time test, so we will see how both sides hold up within the 8-hour time restraint or time limit or whatever. We'll see if this side holds up better than the non-primer side. But as right now, the foundation, I do want to talk about that. It's definitely not a full coverage like, let's just say, the L'Oreal Infallible. This is very, very full coverage. I would say this is a medium coverage. I think it's a good, solid medium coverage. As for dirty little imperfections like this one, you're definitely gonna have to do some extra concealing on those type of areas. But as for evening out the skin tone, I think it did a really, really good job. And as for like my redness, I think it did a good job. So very, very pleased. But again, I do not think this is a full coverage. Definitely in my book, a medium coverage. Also, I do wanna say that this is not setting quickly. I still feel pretty tacky. Also, I do not think that it dries to a full matte, but maybe with the powder, it will be a full matte. But before the powder, I do want to do another first impressions, and that's on another Maybelline product. It is the Master Conceal Camouflaging Concealer, and I got mine in light medium. So this is what the product looks like. Again, I have never tried this product. I'm just going to be applying this underneath my eyes. And I heard this is a really thick consistency. So I'm going to apply a little bit and see how far that goes. Wow. This is really thick. That might be too much. We will see. I'm just going to bring it all the way up because why not? In my inner corner. And I'm also going to be applying it on my eyelid, just whatever's left over from applying it. And then I'm going to blend that out with my beauty blender. Wow, so that definitely added some coverage right there. Like that is a completely different look. Look, this eye almost looks more closed than this eye. That's so weird. But this definitely added a lot more coverage. I really, really like the color compared to the foundation. The contrast is really, really good. I really like it. It's not too light, it's not too dark. Looks very natural. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other eye. Okay, so now moving on with the powder. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless powder, and this is also in 130 Buff Beige. So this is what the powder looks like. And it's got a mirror with a little sponge right there, which is kind of convenient. This is a pretty decent sized mirror. So I'm not going to be taking the sponge. I am going to be taking a big fluffy brush. So this is the Real Techniques one, and I'm just going to be patting that all over my face. Okay, so I finished applying the powder. It's starting to look a little bit cakey, but I think with a setting spray, it won't look so bad. But I definitely made the complete foundation and concealer and primer. Everything is completely matte now. There's no shimmer, shine, or anything going on. Really liking everything. It did add a little bit more coverage. than just the foundation. So I'm really happy about that. I am going to finish with the rest of my makeup and I will be right back. Okay guys, I am back and I do not have any eye makeup on, but it's already getting late in the day and the 8 hours is already going to be taking me to close to midnight. So I wanted to get on here before I did the rest of my makeup. I already have my eyebrows done, my face is done, and tell you guys the time. Okay, so it is 4:10, right? 4:11. So it's 4:11 right now. I am really liking how my bronzer and blush and everything have gone on. If you guys are curious to know what I used for blush and bronzer and everything else that is going on my face, I will have it listed down below. So I'm really happy with how everything went on. I look really matte. I really think that the setting spray helped with the cakey feeling and the cakey look. With the powder, it is definitely possible to add too much of this powder, so definitely be wary of that on how much you're already putting on your face, plus with the primer, plus with the foundation, plus with the extra heavy concealer. I just think you guys should be very wary that it can get cakey really fast. But like I said, the setting spray definitely helped out my situation that was going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish doing the rest of my makeup and I will check back in a couple hours to see how this makeup truly holds up. Hey everybody, so it is now 7:17 and that is the time, and it has been, let's see, wow, no way, has it already been 3 hours? Yeah, it's been 3 hours already. Wow, time has flown by. So as you guys can see, I'm not completely matte anymore. I am starting to get oily right in here just from the looks of it with the lighting and with the camera, but I do not feel oily at all. I'm not going to powder just because I don't feel like I need to. Yes, I'm a little bit shiny, but sometimes we don't have powder, you know, on hand all the time. So I am actually gonna leave it, and I actually already sprayed, I just got done filming a video, so I actually already sprayed another spray of the L'Oreal Infallible, and that just kind of freshened me up for the video that I just filmed. And I'm pretty much gonna leave it like this. Everything's holding up really well. Blush and bronzer are holding up really well. My eyeshadow, I didn't even use a primer, so it's kind of patchy because I didn't use a primer, but everything is holding up really well. So again, I'm going to check back in a few more hours and we will see how everything holds up. Hey everybody, so it is now 10:48 and it is super late. We were up watching movies and being lazy, so we're ready to go to bed. As you guys can see, my face is extremely oily. I have not touched up, I have not done anything. But we're ready to go to bed. I need to put my daughter to bed. We were watching some silly kid movies and we didn't realize what time it was. So I'm gonna powder really quick. I don't know if I'm gonna make it to the full 8 hours just because it is already 11 o'clock. It's been, let's see, it's pretty much 11. So it's been about 7 hours or something like that. So I'm just gonna powder really quick just to see how it touches up, but I think I'm gonna call it good for the 8th hour. So like I said, I'm just gonna take the Maybelline Fit Me powder and apply that. Okay guys, so that is pretty much it. As you guys can see, my makeup has not worn at all. It still looks really good. The bronzer is still really good. The blush is still really good. Everything's holding up really good. My eyeshadow, like I said, I have no primer on and it's still holding up. My eyebrows are doing good. Everything's just doing really good. I'm really impressed. I'll zoom you guys in really quick. So as you guys can see, like nothing has worn, like at all. I don't know what that little mark is. I think I scratched myself, but everything is really good. So I think this is going to be the last time I'm checking in. Actually, I know it's going to be the last time I'm checking in. So it didn't quite, I personally did not make it to the full 8 hours, but I definitely think since I powdered, I think this could last another 2, 3, maybe 4 hours. I definitely think my final conclusion is that with this foundation, you're definitely going to want to powder if you're oily like me. I think if you have normal skin, then you won't need to powder as often, but probably through an 8 to 10 hour day, you're going to want to powder twice throughout the day. Since I did pretty much 8 hours and I've already done one powder so far. So if I was to do another 4 or 5 hours wear out of this foundation, I think I would have to powder again using this foundation. So I really do like it. 7 hours, I mean, I think I could go definitely another hour without touching up or anything. So it held up really well through the 8 hours. I definitely think I'm going to be using this foundation. It's a nice color. It holds the powders on very well. As for the concealer, there's barely any creasing besides my regular creasing that I would usually get, and everything has held up extremely well. So I really like this concealer. So these 3 things are a yes in my book. Now for the primer, I think there are better anti-redness primers. I don't see a big huge noticeable difference with blurring everything out like pores or fine lines. Sorry, my hair's falling out. I definitely think there are better primers on the market for that. As far as the redness goes, or the anti-redness, like getting rid of redness, that's not even a claim that they should have on this product. It did not work at all. As you guys could see in the beginning of the video, it just still was red the entire time. So I definitely think you should pass on this. Maybe if you want to try a different one, because this is the only one I've tried, you can try the original, or I think the other one is the Radiance one. But as for the anti-redness, I definitely think you can pass on it. But for everything else, the foundation, the powder, and the concealer, I think they're really good products. So that's it for my first impressions. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna go to bed. I hope you have a good day or a good night, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks, everybody.